I'm Gary Hartwell, manager of sharpening and repair for Ryan's Pet Supply. Every year we sharpen thousands of blades and shears and repair hundreds of clippers, dryers, and tables. We are considered by many to be the best in the business. Ryan's is an authorized warranty and repair center for many of the top manufacturers for grooming equipment. I've managed the repair center since 1991 and along with my wife Jan have owned a grooming shop in Northwest Phoenix since 1986. So I understand the important needs of today's grooming professionals. It's my hope that I can share some of my experience with you and help keep your equipment in top condition. Today we're going to address one of the most important parts of your clipper, and that's the drive mechanism. We're going to show you how to replace it on the two most commonly used clippers in the industry, as well as how to recognize when a drive mechanism part has failed or is worn out. So let's get started. Of course, always when working on electrical equipment, always be sure to unplug the cord from the power source. Be sure to never pull on the cord, always unplug from the actual plug. Of all the different clippers in the grooming industry, these two here are probably the most popular with pet groomers today. This particular model is what they call the A5. It utilizes a universal rotary motor that has to be air cooled. This model here is the AGC, is a permanent magnet type motor that does not have to be air cooled. There's advantages to both types. These are typically easier to maintain. These are typically will provide more power. Now you may ask yourself, how do I know when my blade drive is worn out and when it should be replaced? Here's an example here. This is a brand new drive, and here's one that's worn out. You notice that the tip of the drive is more squared off on the new one, where this one here is more rounded off on each side. In addition, this worn out one also has a broken web. You can see the web right here on this side is broken. It's come apart. Those are all things you want to look for, and you need to change that out when you see that kind of wear on your blade drive. Here's another example of a blade drive that, even though the tip is in good shape and not worn, you have these little rivets that hold the black and the clear piece together. These rivets here in this case are starting to come loose and they're starting to pull away. If you have a blade drive with this type of defect in it, it should be replaced. Here's another example of the drive lever of a different manufacturer. Here's a brand new one here. Here's one that's been worn and is worn out. You can see the difference. This one is wider, where this has been worn down to almost a nub here. When you see this type of a lever in your clipper, it should be changed out to maximize the performance of your blades. I removed the cutter from the blade to demonstrate that the tip of the drive mechanism fits into the slot of the cutter. A worn out piece, you'll have that slop space in there. This is what causes the blade to chatter or run noisy. It also is what causes streaking in the dog's coat as you're grooming, as I refer to the corduroy effect. This particular clipper is a A5. We've already removed the two lid screws, so we'll take this off. We want to remove the capture plate, and you'll see that this has a lever that's connected to a metal piece. This metal piece is called the link. This is called the lever. Oftentimes when you are examining this and you want to change out the lever, it's a good idea to check the pins that mount the gear and the lever. These are pivot pins. Just by taking your thumb and finger and move this, if you see any movement of this pin, pivot pin, or this gear post, could indicate a problem with the housing. It is a common problem that sometimes these can break loose, and that will greatly affect the efficiency of the drive lever. It's always a good idea to check it. This one here is perfectly good, nice and tight. Remove the lever by just pulling up on it. Pull it out. Push the link out with the gear. Once you remove that, you can take simple Q-tips, remove any old grease, and then you're ready to install a new lever and re-grease the gearbox. When you go to grease it, you always want to put grease down into the gear post until it comes out the sides, the small holes. And you want to put some around the worm gear of the armature in here. Reinstall the gear, making sure that you have the washer that belongs underneath the gear is still there. Sometimes it'll stay down inside the clipper housing. Put that in. You want to put some additional grease around the gear, such as this, for extra lubrication. You don't want to ever fill this cavity over here with grease because it doesn't serve any purpose and you're over greasing the clipper. Replace the link and install your new lever in place by connecting it to the two posts and connect that to the link, and you're ready to go. Second type of clipper that's very well used in the grooming industry is the AGC type clipper. This particular model has a removable lid so you can see the drive mechanism. This drive mechanism is called the blade drive. It's held in by two screws. To remove this and to change this out is very simple. All you would do is remove both the blade drive screws. When you go to remove the blade drive, it's not necessary to remove the hinge. You can do this without having to remove the hinge, simply by prying up on each side of the blade drive and just popping it out. To replace the blade drive, it's always easiest if you take the drive lever here and push it down to the lowest position. It'll rotate around and you push it down to the lowest position. It's very easy. New blade drive, all you have to do is put the tip of the drive through the hinge and mount it into place. On this particular model, there's no greasing per se like on the other one that we mentioned, but each new blade drive that you buy does come with a little bit of grease in the area where the drive bearing rotates back and forth. If you are cleaning out your clipper and that's dried up, just simple regular clipper grease can be put in there, and that's all you need to do. Don't want to over tighten the blade drive screws because that could strip out the metal insert that's inside the plastic front motor frame. So just be sure to snug those down. Don't over tighten. And then of course replace your drive cap. And remember, a little bit of regular maintenance can go a long ways and help your equipment perform better and be more efficient. And also, as a reminder, in the Ryan's catalog, each new issue comes out with a new Gary's Tips and also coupon specials that'll save you money on your repair and sharpening needs. And always remember, for your sharpening repair needs, you can always rely on Ryan's. Thank you.